It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! He's away! Villa in the lead!
A message to Chad Williams, who used to be a service user at Acorn's Children's Hospice and host of the Villa Forever podcast. Chad, good luck with your fundraising for Acorns, and it's amazing that the 150th anniversary of Aston Villa can inspire people to do good things for their community as you are doing. So good luck with it.
Good afternoon, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe. Make sure to give me a follow. And you can follow me on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music. Make sure to smash the likes. And let's spread awareness of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I've got a special interview episode today. I'm joined by my special guest, Guillem Balague, who is a Spanish football journalist, a pundit, and author. He's been well known in the football world, and he's a well-known face on Sky Sports, and in the Revista de la Liga. Also, over the years, Guillem has written for many newspapers. I'll be interviewing him about his new book release, Rise of the Villains, inside Unai Emery's revolution. And the book is about Aston Villa's remarkable transformation during Unai Emery's reign, and Aston Villa's rise to the top, including Champions League qualification, and also Unai Emery's impact on the football club. It's an absolute honour to have on the show, Guillem.
Nice to see you, Chad.
And it's been a few months of organising, but I've been very excited. It's finally here.
Yeah, let me start apologizing though, because we had planned it to do it much earlier today.
Yes.
And then I gave you another time, and then I canceled it and gave you another time, and it was one of those days where it was domino effect. It started badly when I was flying back from Girona last night, and the flight was delayed by 2 hours, so got to bed like 2 o'clock. And
I bet you'd be really busy.
It's been a busy time, but it's the kind of busy I like, as long as I can last, because it's to do with the release of the book. It's to do with the beginning of the season, new projects, or at least doing new things for the people I work with, BBC, CBS, La Liga TV. So it's all good. It's all good, Chad. Really good.
Also, Guillem as well. I've been a massive fan of you for many years.
Thank you. And I have to say, I have to ask you first of all, how you do today? How is it going today?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. And actually, not the other day. Actually, I don't know if you've seen the article.
I have.
Jacob Tanswell, yeah.
It was very, very. How can we describe it? Really well written. It tells the story very well. It's a story that had to be told, and you need to go and read it if you haven't read it yet. None of you, Chad, obviously you read it, but it tells your story, and I think Jacob is a great writer, but also he's got a very good eye in shaping the story and choosing good stories. So I'm glad that he spent time with you.
There was a little condition. I think it needs to be more spoken about in the media. And that's why I think I use my platform to keep spreading awareness through another Aston Villa.
Yeah, and as you say, I think our attention span is so short these days that
Yeah.
it's not just you do a great article gets written about you and about the illness, but it's got to be 100, and it's got to be one after the other. And after a bit of noise has been made, more noise has to be made. And you've chosen that path, and I admire you for it. So as you know, anything
Thank you.
I can help you with, just let me know.
Well, Guillem, I'd like to say as well that I've actually got family in Spain, I have.
Right.
My nan's Spanish. She's from A Coruña.
From La Coruña. Ah, you're
Yeah.
Galician. You have Galician. Well, quarter Galician then.
Yeah. I have, yeah.
Yeah. So how is your Spanish?
I know little bits, but I need to learn a lot more still, I think.
All right. Okay. Well, that's another job to do.
But I'm doing Duolingo.
Duolingo. That'll take you far.
Yeah.
So you got beyond the two cervezas por favor then.
Yeah.
You've gone far.
Yeah.
Good. You got to the next lesson. Good. Wonderful part of the world, Galicia, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful
it's a nice part because that's the north region of Spain. That is.
Yeah, it's the northwest, Celtic, different to the rest of Spain. They've got a lot of paganism around it and spiritualism. I like they think a little bit different. They are pessimistic, but in a funny way. Sorry, a bit of a chest infection here. So the coast is unbelievable because it's not a warm coast, but it's a wonderful coast, and some of the best mariscos, shellfish, comes from that part of the world, and some of the best white wine comes from there.
I do like the wine, actually. I do like the wine.
There's you even got very good white wine in England, but I think Galicia still produces some of the best one in the world.
So, Guillem, I'm going to get into about your book then. So, why did you want to write a book about Unai Emery?
I think the books, when you are, say, a professional of writing, books come to you sometimes instead of you choosing them.
Okay.
So Orion, which is the publishers that have been looking after me since the first book, As Is on in the Brink, about Liverpool, that went so well, and the other books about the authorized biography of Messi or Pep Guardiola, the book on Cristiano Ronaldo, Pochettino, etc., went well. So they keep renewing my contract and asking me to do more. So 2 years ago, because when a book comes out, the first conversation normally takes place 2 years earlier, or that's my experience. So 2 years ago, we were looking around and thinking, who in 2 years' time will have a story to tell, or will be an interesting enough story to bring the book out in 2 years' time? And very easily, we thought of Unai Emery. And interestingly enough, even though he's probably the manager I've spoken to the most, we never thought of doing a book. I don't know. It just didn't happen. But then I started to look into Unai Emery, and I thought, you know what? It's not just the story of Unai Emery that's interesting. It's the story of Aston Villa right now, and what they're trying to do with Aston Villa, which obviously you know more about it than me. So the fact that Aston Villa was trying to push to get into the table of the top six, the way they wanted to do it, how they were disruptors, trying to push the boundaries. That's also the story for Unai Emery. So we thought, yeah, let's do that. And I ended up having so much information about both, having been at Bodymore Heath very often, going to the game, talking to a lot of people.
You went to a few Champions League games as well?
Yeah. Well, once he started going the way he was going, who was going to miss that? It was just.
Well, I was there. I went to Bayern Munich. I was there at the Bayern Munich game and the PSG game. But it's a remarkable transformation. If you look at Emery, it's Is his attention to detail?
It's the detail, it's the vision, it's the people that work with him, it's how the club, they've all think the same way and they work together for the same goal. It's how he's at the forefront of both the way players are coached these days, which has to do with science, individual coaching, analysis, a lot of it, but also he's at the forefront of the predominant football model of our times, the positional football that guarantees in the long term stability and allows players to grow within that frame. And he's done that very, very well. And through that stability and through improving players, yeah, you said it.
So is it Emery as well?
Those games.
The one is he's been fully backed by the board during his time. The guy in the keys to the castle. I just think he's an absolute genius. You think of the first game. He comes in against Man United. We haven't beat Man United for like over 27 years. And Emery changed it. Like, he sort of achieves objectives.
Yeah.
He changed the mindset as well.
Yeah, the mindset has changed. But the interesting thing, and I hope you get the book. You'll hear my voice in the introduction if you do the audiobook. And interestingly enough, the rest of the book is read by a Brummy actress with a Brummy accent. That was my choice, and I think it's a great choice. Why, even though I wrote it, I can hear the voice of a woman throughout it. So, and a local Birmingham woman. So anyway, that you'll hear that he wasn't happy at all with the way that the team played against Manchester United, even though it was a win, because it was won like the players wanted, not so much like he wanted. So then a battle started to convince the players and the fans.
Because it was like instant impact.
Yeah, it was important because it gives you credit, but it was done in a way that the players wanted. It was box-to-box football. There was no control. But obviously, he just trained twice. So, you had to build from there. But they got to a point where the Leicester City defeats and the Arsenal defeats at home.
Oh, yeah.
Where he started saying, listen, guys, you're not doing it the way I want to. You've got to do it my way or no way. And eventually, not only convinced the players and ended up, transforming the side. Little by little, the fans also were won over. I think
we do it really. But I always wanted him as a manager, always thought. But I had the appointment at Emery. As a fan, I was very excited. And also, the players. It's been a lot of the same players. He improved every single player.
And what did you think of the style? Because he proposed something completely different. And how long did it take you to accept it?
I think it took a few months, maybe. I think sometimes when playing up for the back, it's like a new style we wasn't used to. But we knew then that was Emery's way. That was his way. Yeah.
And on the back of that, when you also win in the process, it works. And it makes him happy because he controls matters. If football is played box to box, there's no control. It can go either way. But when you don't have the amount of talent that others have, this way of playing guarantees you that more often than not, the things that you plan take place on a pitch. There is, of course, room for mavericks like John Duran. There is room for things you don't plan to happen. But as long as most of the time the team is stable, that guarantees or that gets you closer to winning. That's what I think.
I find him fascinating. His philosophy and the tactics, the way he implements the tactics.
But that comes from a personality and a personal history that I explain in the first part of the book, of learning, of being. He used to be, you wouldn't believe by the way Villarreal and Aston Villa play. But he used to be the kind of guy that wanted the fullbacks to go up and down, and midfielders get into the box, and all very like kind of rock and roll football. But he feels now that had its time, and now he wants the team obviously to play in a different way. But to actually be able to explain that evolution, to understand it, it helps understand also why he's chosen the style that he's chosen. And I warn you of one thing: if you read the book, if you listen to the book,
Yep.
you're going to find that it's going to be harder for you to criticize players and criticize coaches, because their work is so detailed. There's so many hours.
A lot of detail. They work hard.
Yeah. And then when you see that, and you see that there's a person behind the criticism, there's a person behind the hashtag Unai out or whatever, then it's harder for you to actually go and say,
the thing is that Emery,
criticize.
I don't think he's there at Aston Villa for many years to come. I don't think Emery is not being the best manager for Aston Villa. I think there's nobody better out there, I don't think.
If nothing else, what Unai Emery has done for you particularly, but also for everybody else, is brought to you fantastic memories. The way he writes in the book himself, that's what he's in football for, to create memories. People say, yeah, but for the Unai Emery era to be successful, he's got to win something. Really? I mean, hopefully you will.
It'd be nice to top it off. But I'm very grateful to Emery, because during Emery's reign, as a Villa fan, I've had the best memories.
That's it. And what is it? What is football about if not memories? Even losing a final, losing a semi-final, beating PSG, they're all memories. They're all part of your experiences with friends that will be remembered forever.
And
You'll
in
tell
football,
people,
it's really important.
Yeah. And winning, yes, of course, winning a title is good, but only one team can win the FA Cup a year. And yes, of course, if Unai won the Europa League or won the FA Cup, he'll have a statue by outside the stadium. But even so, what he's actually bringing you is just memories, moments that you'll have with you forever.
So, what is your relationship like with Unai Emery? How long have you known him?
I've known him since he was at Almeria. He's probably, as I said, one of the managers I speak the most. I've always was, whatever club he went in, I went to see him, I went to talk to him, with no ulterior motive than just getting to know how things were going. And then when you spoke about it, to do it with knowledge. He gave me the first English interview when I was in Sky, and he was at Valencia. And he mentions in the book that he gave me an interview. Sorry, he gave me an interview after he left Arsenal. He gave me the first interview, and he shouldn't have done it because he was too raw. He was too emotional about it. And I watched it back, and I know exactly what he meant. Me as a journalist, as a writer, I wanted to hear from him, and I convinced him to do so because I felt there was the reaction to his departure was too negative in terms of what he had done. People have forgotten that he had replaced Arsene Wenger, that he took Arsenal to the Europa League final. So we did that interview, but I know what he means, that perhaps for him it wasn't the right time. For me, it was the right time. But that's the kind of the relationship we've got. We will tell each other the truth, whatever, even if it's hurtful truth.
I don't like Emery at the moment. I mean, we went through a little bit of a blip. The thing is, all teams go through blips. You can see how motivated he is. He's always determined to get it right. He's sort of like a perfectionist.
So that blip exposed a bunch of things in my eyes. One, I thought the Aston Villa faithful had more time for blips, more patience for blips, having got where they got to. And I thought that 5 games is not a sample of anything, and that people will see it that way. But I was surprised by the amount of people that started talking about the end of an era, problems, crisis. It was really shocking, to be honest, because I spent a year and a half in Birmingham, going to Villa Park, Bodymore Heath, and because I know what's going on there, I was convinced that yes, things haven't started well, but the right key will be pressed at some point.
Because he was at Emery. On you at one point, he was going to fix it. You're going to get him time.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying, that it was very surprising, and it's interesting to look back. People should look back at their messages, at their on X or whatever, and see what they were saying in this month, because I thought Unai had more credit from everyone. So there are 2 theories of what happened in those 5 games and the reaction. One theory I've just heard this morning is that because the prices are high in Champions League, that create, and there was a little bit of tension with the club in that point, from that point of view. At the moment, things will go wrong. A lot of people will moan. I don't believe that's the case. I generally believe that people have got no patience anymore. They prefer to react the first one. They want to be the ones.
It was the media.
Second?
It's the media they get.
Not sure, Chad.
Toxic.
I don't think the media senses what's going on and identifies what's going on.
Social media,
social media, yes. But social media is led by fans. So I think there was an exaggerated reaction to what was going on, which wasn't a lot. If you now in a month's time, it look even less.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting, and the book. I went to Talk Sport, and they said, "Wow!" in the middle of that blip, and it was Andy Jacobs and Paul Hawkins, and I think it was Paul who said, "What a time to bring the book! What a bad time!" He was trying to suggest, and I'm like, "No, it's a good time, because that book will remind everyone, hopefully, that there is a rise. Appreciate what has happened.
Done. Yeah,
where you come from, where you've done, what's happening, and that there is a rise. And a rise is never a straight line; it just goes up and down. So I thought hopefully it will work. But anyway, a couple of games later, you started winning, and now you all that is gone, all that is forgotten.
Yeah. So how much research did you need to do before writing the book?
What was interesting, I felt from my point of view, is that I was a little bit out of my comfort zone, because even though I knew a lot of people in there, very close to a lot of people in there, in the Villa coaching staff, I didn't know a lot about Aston Villa, and I didn't know a lot about Birmingham. I've lived in England on and off for 3 decades, but you tend to follow for work. You tend to follow Champions League teams. You tend to go to Manchester, to Liverpool, whatever. So I had to learn a lot about what's going on in Birmingham, what kind of city it is.
Because was it also you have to in your book you interviewed Unai Emery, Ossie Moncho's left the club, and Morgan Rogers you interviewed as well, didn't you?
Yeah. There was obviously spoke to a lot of people, as many as I could, because it was like a fly on the wall for a while, going to the training ground, going to games, sitting in the chairman's suite. As I said, conversations of hours and hours and hours. So all that allowed me to have a picture that I didn't have at the beginning of the journey. And yeah, I think I know more now about it. Still learning, but
also, you have to do a lot of proofreading. Get your facts right, also fact check. Yeah.
There is work. There's a lot of people I work with. So I've got an assistant in Maribela Russo who transcribes the interviews. I've got a researcher I've got a proofreader, and then I've got, within the publisher world, I've got 2 editors. So there's a lot of, it goes through a lot of hands before it actually gets published. So, but even so, if you spot anything that is not right, let me know. Any of you, really, let me know, because there'll be a second edition. I have to do a paperback edition, which has to include 10,000 words, 10,000 words more. So, and that will come out at the beginning of next season. So there'll be time to correct things if I got things wrong.
I'm gonna listen to the audio book.
Yes, I think it's been done. I did my bit about 2 weeks ago. As I said, my voice is in the introduction, because that's myself explaining in the book why I'm doing it, and what's behind the book, and then the rest was being recorded after me. So should be out. If it's not out yet, it should be out soon.
Yeah. So what was the inspiration behind the book? How long did it take to write the book?
So once we decided that Unai Emery and Aston Villa were a good fit to spend 2 years of my life, really, I needed to decide how I was going to do that. And at first, generally, I have a structure in my head of what I want to do, and then I fill the gaps. But this time, I thought, no, I'm actually going to do it differently. I did already the story of the season when I did the Pochettino book, Brave New World, and I didn't want to do that. So I thought, I'll use stories from last season, but I want to tell a bigger story, a story of Villa now, a story of how you transform a club, how you disrupt to actually break barriers, how you have to deal with the players, how you work with them, what's the methodology of the night, all that within, with a lot of anecdotes and stories happening as I was there. But I did not have a structure. And then at some point, I thought it will come to me. It will come. And it did. When I realized I started to know a lot about Unai and a lot about the club, I thought, I'm going to divide it into 2 parts. The first part I'm going to call The Lion, obviously, based on Eucharist. And the second part, I'm going to call it The Pride. And that could be the pride of the club, the pride of the fans, or a bunch of lions, Unai and his people. So that's what it is. And I'm very proud of the titles, the subtitles of those 2 parts, but also that I managed to do 2 books in one, really. The first one is Unai biography.
A Champions League football qualification, did that inspire you as well?
You'll have to say again, because you broke down.
The Champions League.
Yeah.
Get into the Champions League. Did it inspire you even more to do the book?
No, I was already doing it. And obviously, to have big picks, like beating Bayern Munich or beating PSG, those big picks allow the book to take a different emotional dimension. So you're telling a story, but all of a sudden, the hook is, will they beat Bayern Munich? Wow, they beat Bayern Munich. And I did a whole chapter on that. And then, the PSG thing and all that. Even the lows of Crystal Palace, all those are, it helps the reading to become almost like a novel. It peaks, goes down, it peaks again. That's the structure that I used eventually. And having good nights helps. If you had won a trophy, it would have become a bestseller because everybody will want to buy it.
Come on, it doesn't Aston Villa fan. Going through the bad times makes the good times feel even better.
Completely. And I get that. I identified, I don't know if you agree with me, that the Broomies I know, they see the bottle half empty. And that's a way of living. That's a philosophy of life. But it's also down to the, and you get excited with the good parts, but you always think, but we could go back to the other bad times kind of thing. You got that look into life, at least my generation and perhaps even your generation. But in any case, having been through bad periods, as you say, helps you enjoy more the good times. And at the moment, you have to say, I have to say that you're in special time. Right now is a special time, and I hope you
It is,
enjoy
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Emery, like, even not just Champions League, but 3 European finishes. Good, Emery, he knows Europe.
Yeah.
Who knows with the Europa League? It could be our year because Emery's won that competition 4 times. Who knows what's all about?
Yeah, and you should. That's why I was surprised, at the bad start or regular start of the season, how everybody went so negative. But maybe it's that thing that we're talking about, the seeing the bottle half empty. But it's a year to be excited about because it's going to be really hard to get into Europe again. I spoke yesterday with a Premier League manager, one of the top 4 ones. I was like, it's going to be so hard to get there this year. Even they thinking that because everybody's taking points from everyone. Everybody, works really hard and set pieces and so many other things that makes defensive work. A win is so hard these days. But on top of what it is, a battle to get into Europe, which Unai will want to be back after 16 consecutive years, you've got the Europa League. And the Europa League is another. Yeah, it's not only Unai's competition, it's a top European competition. It's exciting.
It is, yeah.
For those that.
Well, if you look, Guillem, actually, if you have a look, there's some teams in that competition that are all beatable, I think. Aston Villa can't win the Europa. We can't win the Europa League.
Yeah. I'm not saying you favourites, but certainly you are candidate with Unai Emery at helm. Don't think of it. Don't think about the end of the journey, the end of the trip, the final. Think of let's make more memories.
Enjoy the ride.
Let's go to Villa Park and see the games, and those that can afford it and have got the time or whatever, travel away and make friends, and then go with your son, whatever. Enjoy it, enjoy the journey, and then on the back of it, if you win more than you lose, even better. But don't think like, oh, unless we win it, it'll be a failure. That's the wrong way to think about sport generally, but certainly about Aston Villa. You're going through difficulties. It'll be a tough season with the up and downs, but try to enjoy it. And if things don't work again, try to ask yourself, what would Unai do? What is he going to do? And try to look into what he's going to do. Instead of going, it's the end of an era, that's it, boo. Just try to find out what's happening. Read the book. Try to find answers.
Be positivity.
And be a bit more positive, yeah. It's football after all. It's just a game.
So how did your career start in sports journalism and the media start?
So I finished my media studies in Barcelona in 1991, and I decided to go to Liverpool to learn English as part of my education. And so I went to Liverpool, fell in love, decided to stay over, and I wasn't working as a sports journalist. I was just working in a pub. I was distributing bread. I was writing about cinema, about politics, about Princess Diana and Charles and Camilla. I was writing about all kinds. But in 1996, I became the correspondent of a very famous football magazine called Don Balón.
Yeah.
Now it's just a clickbait webpage. It's disappeared. And on the back of it, I wrote to Sky Sports. I introduced myself. They invited me to the studio. I did a show with them. And then I started doing from 1997 until 2018.
That's a long time, that is. Long time.
Yeah. And then I left Sky Sports in 2018. And then I've been doing CBS in America, the famous Thierry Henry and Michael Richards and Jamie Carragher and Kate Scott show. And I'm doing BBC, the Euro Leagues on Thursdays with Steve Grossman on the BBC 5 Live, La Liga TV. And I keep writing books, and I've got my own socials, my own little
And also,
show.
Guillem, you do a lot of football phone-ins, because the Spain's national radio station, Cardina SCR,
What's that?
Cardina, the national Spanish radio station.
What? Radio Nacional.
You look at national Spanish radio station.
There's people may be surprised to hear that in Spain the biggest radio shows are football shows at midnight.
Okay.
And they all have it at midnight. Perhaps they started now at 11:30 p.m. and they go on for an hour and a half. And I've been part of those shows, but I left Spanish media in January of last year. I decided no more because I don't belong to. It's all
Yeah.
the way they do it. I don't like it, so I prefer to do my bit with the Anglo-Saxon world, if you like. And even though my books, all but one, have been translated into Spanish, I don't deal with Spanish media at the moment.
Have you been on BBC WM before?
Who, I?
No, you. Have you been on BBC West Midlands?
Yes. In fact, this week I've been once already, and I think I'm going to be interviewed again Monday morning, I think. BBC. I've been working for the BBC since 2018, doing different things, and I'll be on Match of the Day on the 23rd, I think it is.
On the count for that, then.
Yeah, it's the Champions League Match of the Day. So I did few last year, and I'm contracted to do 6 this year. So the first one, my debut this year, will be on the 22nd of October. So I'll be in Manchester doing that.
And you've been on Radio 5 Live. And also, you're hosting a podcast. It's called, was it the Game or something?
I've got a football podcast.
The Game.
Which the Football Daily is the one for the BBC, and I've got one in English and Spanish, but I kind of stopped it some time ago. So I think I have to go back to it, and that if I go back to it, you'll be the first one to know. And then, but the thing I enjoy the most, and is what I was doing in my podcasts and in my YouTube channel as well, is interviews, chat like this. I love chatting to people. Yeah. I mean, you get to know so much. You know, I mean, I've interviewed, you name them, for different ways, for the podcast or for television or for documentaries or for books. Is the thing I enjoy the most. And because I heard so much from like Pep Guardiola or Rafa Benitez or Jose Mourinho or all these people I spoke to, I thought I knew enough. And that's why I got involved in the football club. I'm the chairman of Beaconsfield United, because I thought, do you know what? I think all these things I'm hearing, I can put them in practice. I can take decisions. I can build a club. And that's what I've been doing since 2014 in Beaconsfield United.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much. So do you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So do you.
So let's talk about newspaper articles. So, do you enjoy writing newspaper articles? And how do you make them stand out?
I haven't written for a newspaper for a while. I was a Marca, As, Observer, The Times, but I'd left my writing to either the books or I've got a blog with the BBC that I really enjoy doing. And I love writing. I think radio is my favorite medium. Podcast, radio, voice, talk. But in terms of writing, you will always find in my articles and my blogs for the BBC a different angle. So there will be, an issue or theme that everybody has got an opinion on, Mbappe or Vinicius or Barcelona problems or Arsenal style or whatever it is. But you will always find in my blogs something that will make you think. And that comes on the back of thinking a lot myself, maybe too much. about football and all these things,
Mm.
and then trying to turn a story on its head, so then you see it from a different angle. I don't want you to agree with me, but I just want you to see it from a different angle.
Okay.
And that's if you want to talk about standout. By the way, it's a good question I've never been asked before, and
Sure.
it's the first time I talk about this, about the way I write
Yeah.
blogs. But it does make sense. That's what I do. There's always something that, like a curveball, something that makes you think.
What is
And
I think as
that's
well?
good.
It's easier to write about a team that's doing well than doing bad.
Sorry, did you say that that's the hard thing to do?
What is it easier
Oh,
to write about a team doing well?
I don't care. That to me is not an issue. They both had got its challenges, especially if, as I say, I want to tell the story a bit differently. So if a team is doing well, I want to find ways in which it can go wrong, or try to tell the behind the scenes story of what has clicked. What is it that people don't know that's happening? And if it's going bad, I want to know how people deal with crisis, instead of just telling you what everybody else would have told you is going bad because the goal scorer doesn't score or whatever. It's like, all right, how is the manager dealing with that, and how is the player accepting
But what it
whatever?
is, it's good to get a different perspective.
Yeah, is that what you do as well?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I do sometimes do that.
It makes you use your brain to actually tell the story in a different way. But if you're a storyteller, you want to stand out, and your way of standing out is to come out with a different angle. I mean, those questions, some of the questions you're asking, I haven't been asked before, so that helps the conversation, and you are a good listener, so that moves things on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way. That's what I would recommend new journalists. I always say the same thing. Young people that want to get into journalism, we are only a microphone or a recorder. We are only a microphone or a recorder. We are not the story, and that's difficult in a time where, at the time of influencers, the time of where everybody has to have a voice, wants to say things differently. But what's important is not so much how you say it. At some point, it becomes important, but what's important is what you say, and what you say has to do with researching, with talking to people, with listening, with knowing what your audience is. A lot of things, but that has to do with you taking yourself away from the story. I mean, it's very rich of me to say that when I'm being interviewed for being a writer and a journalist.
Yeah.
But I guess when you've written 11 books, or you've sold 1 million copies, or translated to 33 languages or whatever, you have the ability to, or the possibility to, actually tell the story how you've done that. But generally, from the beginning, my trick was I am only the one who tells a story. And I think young journalists, sometimes they forget that.
How would you describe the Spanish football culture? How does it compare to England?
Well, in terms of if we start with the media, for instance, it's very important in both countries. On one hand, in England, is all about controversy and personalities. So you want the clashes, and you want the big personalities. You love Mourinho, you love Sir Alex Ferguson, you love Pep Guardiola, or hate him. It's about personalities and controversy. In Spain, we think we know a lot about football, so there's a lot of analysis that perhaps doesn't make a lot of sense. We love gossip. We love to imagine what things happen. If we're not there, we still imagine it. So it is different from that point of view, media wise. But generally, football in England is a lifestyle. You wake up as a fan and go to bed as a
Way of
fan.
life.
You buy all the shirts, you go to all the shows, like the one in the 15th in the Wheaton Arms. You go to all the shows. And in Spain, football is more like a 90-minute game that could be discussed in the bar, but it's not our lifestyle. So we don't travel so much away. We don't buy all the shirts. We're not customers as much as they are in England. That's another big difference, I feel.
The big thing I like about the Spanish is they're very passionate.
So are you.
Well,
But I tell you one thing, another thing. Yeah, you made me think there. There's one thing that is completely against the grain.
Yeah.
So in Spain, if your team loses 5-0 at home, we boo them. We have a go at them. That's the logic reaction. And we are an emotional country. We're not a logical country. We're an emotional country. So it goes against the grain. But you do the opposite.
Okay.
You lose at home 5-0, maybe not so much these days, but generally, you still clap your team when they go home.
You always get behind.
You always would get behind. But that's no logic. And it doesn't make any sense to do that. If your team has let you down, you have to tell them. That would be the logic. And you are a logical country. So it's an interesting contrast in that. Because Spanish players, when they come over, and managers, they get amazed that after a bad performance, they still get clapped out from the stadium, from the pitch, and it's like they should be killing us. But yeah, that's also why
because in England, football's everything.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing. Okay.
Is it always a good thing?
Not always, but yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that live their life through football, and there's more to life than football. And
things
get
are more
really
important. That's it. Things are more important.
No, there's the famous saying, isn't it, that nobody agrees who said it first, that football is the most important of the least important things.
Yeah.
Probably that's right.
Because Guillem, I use it like a distraction. Because doing this podcast and the football gives me a purpose.
I get that. And I'll tell you more. Your inspiration to see your life fulfilled this way, or to get that distraction, I'm sure not only gives and tells the audience the things you want to tell them, but also it creates a following, and it's an inspiration. So football is such a powerful tool. And at Biggleswade United, for instance, I'm not there to win games. It's great to win games with the men, with the women, with the kids, but it's about to create a world, even a tiny little world, in which the right values are applied, in which respect, support, empathy, love, all that is at the forefront of everything that gets done, because that's contagious. You do that and others do it for others, and so on and so forth. That's why I'm in football for. That's why I'm in at Biggleswade United for. And only in football you could do that. There's no other walk of life where you could do that. So what you do is extraordinary, and as I said, opens the eyes to many. And yeah, well done. I keep doing it.
That's really kind of you. So, what is your favourite book you have written?
Oh, I love my Maradona book. I love Rise of the Villains because it's probably the one more in depth I've ever done. There's sociology there is psychology, there are anecdotes, there is a bit of fiction, there is profile building, there is story building. There's a lot there. So it's my most mature and depth book, but I love my Maradona
also,
book.
You written the one about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
because you got an award for that.
I did.
Was he in Poland?
No, well, Poland won the Book of the Year, but they didn't give me an award.
Okay.
I just won it, and I got an award in the Football Writers Association. They do Book of the Year, and mine was Football Book of the Year. So, yeah, in fact, I think the last 5 books have been nominated to Book of the Year. So, I'm very pleased about that. And recognition is always wonderful.
I mean, you feel do you feel proud?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what I was proud about, Chad? I was proud that when I got my award, 2016, my parents were there, and obviously we knew I was going to win it, so I invited them over, and I said in Spanish, it was an English audience, but I said in Spanish, look, Dad, Mom, I've been away from home from Barcelona for 25 years, but things are going well. And that was quite emotional to share that night with them. It was great.
I bet it was. Also, you've written a lot of books over the years, including one about Rafa Benitez and Pep Guardiola, Lionel Messi, in the book about him, also about Barcelona, and you've done one about Pochettino as well.
I've done 11 books. I've done 2 ebooks, which nobody's read, but I'm proud of them. And then I've done 9 other books. And the good things for me, the fantastic news for me is that we've got a plan for the next 4 or 5 years, which has to do with updating the Messi book when he retires, updating the Pep Guardiola book when he leaves City. A book I wrote that's only in Spanish at the moment, Captains of Barcelona, both female and male. It's going to be translated into English next year. And then we've got an idea for a new book, which could come out in 2 or 3 years' time, depending on the subject, if he wants to do this book with me. I haven't asked him yet. So it looks like I'm going to be writing books for a while still.
Oh, yeah. Wait, the thing is that it's something that you love, and I bet you enjoy.
Yeah.
You're doing something that you love.
Yeah, there'll be a time where, nobody will want me to go on a pitch and talk in front of a camera, or on a studio to talk in front of a microphone or whatever, but I'll still be writing books. So I think that means that I'm never going to retire, and we'll be able to chat in regularly in your podcast.
Well, Guillem, we're going to do 2 more questions before we finish. So, what makes Unai Emery such a good football manager? And did you expect him to transform Aston Villa so quickly?
The second one, no, nobody did. That's why it's an extraordinary story that needed to be told. And how he's done it, some of it people know, a lot of it people don't know. Well, they do now if they read the book. But it was an opportunity to tell that story because the rise has been remarkable and very fast, and unexpectedly fast, you have to say. And what makes him a good manager is he's very, very passionate about what he does. It's very rare that if you're very passionate about what you do and you're humble enough to correct your ways when you're not doing it right, and you're humble enough to learn, that you don't go a long way yourself. So your podcast, I'm sure this one is better than the first one you did, and you are very passionate about it. So it's very difficult that it doesn't come out good.
So he's decided, Emery, he'll just strive to get better every day.
Yeah, exactly that. So but you have to have the personality and the approach, the mental approach to learn.
Well, and Emery as well. He's got a good bond with the fans.
Which is interesting because I don't think he's searching for it. I don't think he's doing like Klopp does or like others do. He just wants to do his job. And he's not searching for you to approve what he does, because he knows when he's good and he knows when he's bad. But you needed somebody that show you a way out of where you were. And he has been the guy. He's been the guy that's taken you to another place.
Yeah.
That's why I insist with this. And if you want, we can leave it there just because it's a good ending. Good endings. Sorry. Good endings are very important. It's not so much about the destination. I know it's a cliche. It's about the journey. Enjoy what's happening. Enjoy it. Even in the difficult times, find out what's going on. Ask the right people. Find answers in the book, for instance, or in press conferences or whatever, because you'll come out of it. And then just go to the games or watch the games or whatever it is you do,
Yep.
just with a good spirit and enjoy the moment because you are in a special time. Villa is in a special time. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. We're gonna make the most of Henry while he's here.
That's it. That's what you should
And
do.
one more, again, I'm about to say to you as well. If you could use one word to describe Unai Emery, what would it be?
One word. Well, I said it already, but there it goes. Passionate.
Okay. Yeah, I would go that. And also, genius.
What is genius?
What he's done for the club, I think, because the way he's coming in by the instant impacts. And I think he's transformed the club.
Chad, I don't see genius anywhere. I see a lot of work, a lot of analysis, a lot of logic, a lot of decisions, a lot of assistance, a lot of experiences, a lot of memories. Genius is Picasso's a genius, Leo Messi's a genius,
Yep.
Pep Guardiola's a genius. Unai Emery is the hardest worker, and as I said, he's got he's got the ego and the humility to make the most out
And
of
what it is, I think,
he's got.
he's got that
Hey?
fire in his. He's got that fire in his belly. He's got that desire.
He's got the desire. He's got the desire, and an engine full of petrol. He doesn't seem to run away of it, especially now that, as I explained in the book, he breaks to go home to his family, to his friends, to sing Basque songs, to to eat food that he loves, to swim in the sea, things that revitalize him, which we absolutely will absolutely need. That's one lesson I took from the book, by the way, and from talking to him. I need to do that more often.
Well, yeah, I just want to say again, Ian, I've really enjoyed talking to you.
And me.
But before we go, I want to give your event a shout out. So you can get it up on the screen. So make sure to get here, Villa fans. The 15th of October, Wednesday, the 15th of October at 7 p.m. Guillem Balague has arranged a special event with a lot of special guests there, including Stilian Petrov, Ian Tyler, and Anna Macanale. So it's a night you don't want to miss. So Guillem, can you tell what about your events?
Yeah, it starts at 7. We'll have a comedian, James, and I will be master of ceremonies. We'll invite those that you mentioned, and James Chester and Andy Townsend as well. But people from the club too, head of comms, player liaison, because I want them to tell the story of what they do. There's one or two surprises. There's going to be raffle of things to raise money for a charity, not a charity, a hospital, children's hospital, but also to Beaglesware United, the club I'm the chairman of. We've got T-shirts that we're going to sell as well. There's going to be music. There's going to be drums. Sorry. It's going to be a memorable night. And this is just to present a book. There will be books you can buy. I'll sign them as well. I think some of the legends will be there also signing stuff. So, yeah, are you going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great night.
Brilliant. I will see you there then on Wednesday.
And Guillem, could you spread the word about my podcast?
Yes, I will. You're obviously have seen it that you're advertising social, so I'll be retweeting it and marking it. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please remember to make sure to subscribe. Make sure to smash the like button on this video. Make sure to give it a share on all of your socials. And if you're listening via audio, make sure to leave us a good review. That always helps. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you so much, Guillem, for your time.
My pleasure, Chad. Talk to you soon. And see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Yeah. I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever as always, and up the Villa.